Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, this is the only build in 2K26 that can guard 1 through 5. Now, I do actually kind of mean that in terms of like the 6'9", 6'8" kind of lock style builds are absolutely a thing that needs to be respected in this game for many different reasons. I'll get into a lot of the different tangents in today's video. I hope you guys do enjoy, and if you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties. All good stuff. Like always, try to score 1,000 likes. Now, I played the game for a decent bit. Obviously, as you guys saw with the uploads yesterday, if you've been tapped in with the channel, I was focused on videos so hard early. So I played from behind a little bit in terms of the, ability to play the game. Didn't have as many reps as some of the people I was playing against, and then kind of ran into a lineup problem where I was playing on the threes with 3 bigs. I was on 6'10", playing with a 7-footer and a 7'4", thinking, it's early in the game, people aren't gonna be able to shoot that great, who cares, it ain't that big a deal. Bro, let me tell you, it was. It is so hard to guard perimeter players in this game, and I'm telling you, even if you think you're safe guarding another big man or something like that as a popper, you're not safe on the perimeter if you're slow. It's as simple as that. Also, by the way, motion styles matter a lot. If you want to check out some of those, it's on 2K Labs. I normally would promo it right here, but I'm just literally being genuine that I truly do think that the motion styles are a huge deal. But anyway, we should also just kind of segue into the build a little bit. I want to show you it. You're going to think it's troll. You're going to hate me. That's all right. I'm here to put you on to what I think is going to be the thing that I'd hate to see the most on the court, personally, and what I think gets the most value out of the way that this game is going to be working. Now, I'm here to tell you this right now. I believe that a lockdown, and this is meant for 3s and 2s for the record, and maybe even more so just 3s, honestly, because like on 2s, yeah, you are going to have to pass the ball, honestly, so it is quite specific. Now, before you kind of get dissuaded by the build just off the fact that its pass accuracy is low, I do want to let you know, and I will show you in just a second, the cap breakers that you put on pass accuracy and speed with ball are actually insanely valuable and can actually bring you to points of this build that actually become respectable pass accuracy and 75 speed with ball for like, Zach LaVine dribble style and stuff like that. The build still also gets, as you can see, bronze limitless range, gets sharpshooter takeover as well for the fact that it has the 80 mid-range, so that's going to be unlocking takeovers. Yeah, it's a cone on offense. It's not going to do anything as far as like, I mean, it could actually still cut for that matter. 55 driving dunk and 45 standing is not completely useless, but it's meant to obviously be a spot up. If this is not your style, I totally understand. That's okay. It's not everybody's style. But in this game, ISO is so back. It's so freaking back, it's insane. I mean, the ability to dribble in an open court and just like, if there's not a great versatile defender in front of you, to just have your way with them is ridiculous in this game. If you're not fast enough, you can't keep up. If your interior defense and size isn't good enough, you're going to get bullied and just like kind of be a non-factor in terms of the drives and stuff that they do to you. Then don't even mention adding screens and pick and pops and stuff like that into the equation. Offense is just extremely powerful in this game. And what's really powerful to counter it, in my opinion, is versatility on defense. If it were me, honestly, I think I'd even play more into the defense and not even play for cap breakers on the playmaking and stuff like that and just leave it like this. I think, personally, I would drop this right here on the rebound down to 87, play for cap breakers long term, be okay with having silver rebound chaser, and play actually into the interior defense a little bit more as well. Now, if you wanted to play actually like a little bit more short term with that, you could maybe play more for like 3 cap breaks, something like that. Sit at like 89 defensive rebound. I think it's, playable currently. But honestly, between height being hard to counter in terms of being shot over and also just post scores in general, I've seen enough of it. I've been playing with Tonic on 2s. He's been dominating people. I have some gameplays for y'all that I don't want to steal his thunder too hard on, but they were games that I also played decent, and I just ended up making a build at 6'8" because we needed defense. We needed defense desperately. I was playing on that 6'10", made it very offensive. We had Joey on a 7'4" as well. That was like pretty offensive, and then Tonic once again on a 7-footer. That was pretty offensive. It was a miserable time on 3s, not having interior defense or block on nearly every single player, and steal as well. It's literally just a little bit of Primdy on everybody, and I had 82, and I was out here trying to guard Joe Knows. Heck no. That is just too tough, especially with the lack of defense we had. Even if I could, like, score at a decent rate or anything like that, or if we as a team could score at a decent rate, they just have walking 2s easily on every possession. And again, it's really just because of the lack of interior defense and block and stuff like that. And, at the end of the day, he's obviously one of the best players on the game, was the highest rep of the night as well, was playing the game a ton, and it was actually technically my first game to his like 70th. So to be fair, you know, not a whole lot of reps for me or anything like that. But yeah, I can openly say and use that as experience for it's hard to guard like ISO players. Koza on top of that too. Double H. I played a lot of ISO players that were super hard to guard with a lack of like, you know, real defense to be had. And I think things like this are necessary. Chase down blocks. Super big. I really truly do believe in chase down blocks being your saving grace against ISO, and it's not even close how much it helps you, because you can't just sit here and hope to get plucks this year. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And really the only reason for 85 steal is just for the gold interceptor, because I think the value of a switch lock and being able to play lanes on the switch is very valuable. It's how you're going to get takeaways in this game, because realistically, if you're trying to fight through screens and like really just be that guy that's like a 6'4", trying to like, you know, never switch onto the big or anything like that, you're gonna have a hard time on this game. I really do think that this is the perfect mold for a lockdown build in 2K26. And if you want to manipulate this in a different way to be able to get the pass accuracy, if you want to just ditch mid-range entirely, feel free to. But I'm telling y'all, it's not gonna be that easy. Like it really is gonna be hard to get this stuff. Look at that. That's what dropping like 7 mid-range does, is just simply get us, you know, a little bit of pass ac. Now, I know, like I said, a lot of y'all are probably turned off by the pass accuracy. Let me just go ahead and address the elephant of the room with that and actually show you that it's possible to eventually get this up. Now, again, feel free to try and change things about this build, but I'm telling y'all, if you go like 74 interior D, it's just not gonna like get the job done in terms of being a switchable, like guard everything kind of guy. If you go low on the block, I think you're really cooking yourself in terms of like the ability to guard ISO. I think high flying denier and block rating in general is going to be huge, and then the switchability of being able to guard bigs and actually like rebound with them is half the equation. Dudes are still coming out here with super high offensive rebound builds if they're making like a center and stuff like that. So it just depends on how switchable you really want to be and how much you really want to guard 1 through 5, because it truly will like come up on you as like a problem if you try and skip out on a lot of those valuable ratings on defense. So let's go ahead and just hop in the build real quick and actually show you. Also, I will warn you guys, badge progression is extremely slow. It's actually really hard to get the badges and stuff like that. And what's going to be important, if you ask me, is to kind of plan around that a little bit. And what really could be a problem is trying to get legend badges, Hall of Fame badges naturally. I really do think the ability to have a lot of gold badges on a build like this, because I mean, as you can see, obviously the rating caps kind of correlate with a lot of golds, Hall of Fames, and it really amplifies even more the fact that like using +1s and +2s and specialization and stuff like that is like so usable on a build like this. Sure, a 6'8" only gets gold on ball menace, but what if you just turn that to legend? Sure, it gets gold challenger, but what if you just turn that to legend? Sure, it gets gold interceptor, but what if you just turn that to legend? Now you got like the same value essentially as you would as being a pure lock, but you have 88 block, gold high flying denier. That's a tier 2 for that matter as well. You could get that on legend as well and be literally like the SWAT artist of all time with 80 vertical, 88 block, the ability to still rebound as well. Again, if you wanted to go with the interior defensive version with the 88, you absolutely could. I will say though, if you wanted to just be an ISO defender, 82 is perfectly fine. I think it's more just for being able to guard like bigs, post scores, stuff like that. I'm kind of gassing it a little bit by saying that maybe it's worth going 88. I will say though, interior D will absolutely still help you stop slashers and ISO players and stuff like that for sure. But anyway, point being is, you can see, and actually I should address the thing I was really trying to get here in chat about. The pass accuracy still can get toned up a decent bit with the cap breakers and stuff like that. If you really wanted to make a build like this where there's not a whole lot of utilization you can get out of it as far as the cap breakers in the long term. That's why I was saying if you wanted to embrace the low pass ac and just truly play as a 3v3 park lock or something like that, or a traffic cone on offense and pro-am or something like that too. I mean, me and Tonic have played like this before. We did it in 2K21 Next Gen, where Tonic made like a true blue do everything build except for pass accuracy. He had 25, and we played with him on pro-am with it, and sure, he had to check it down to me very often on the on the rebounds. He's not throwing outlets or anything like that, but realistically, how often is it even a safe pass in Pro-Am for you to catch the ball in the corner and just chuck it back to the wing, even if you had 90 pass accuracy? It's not exactly a safe pass, I'm telling you that much. Also, chances are that you probably just have a shot if you had been passed the ball as well. And again, just hit the check down, hit your big man, hit your point guard, whoever was sitting in the corner on the opposite side or down there on the rebound. Obviously, just get the ball out of your hands in a comfortable way off the rebounds if you're playing 5s. It's the only thing you're going to struggle with on a build like this, obviously. Now, that's under the circumstances that you are okay with being a corner spot up, not really doing anything, you know, simple. And now, I did want to give the build some fun to be able to have like 83 3-pointer with the bronze limitless that you could eventually put to like gold if you really wanted to try stuff like that, have the sharpshooter takeovers and stuff as well, be versatile in terms of being a shooter. But again, that pass accuracy will suffer, but this had to be something that was done. There's nowhere else to skip out on if you want to have this kind of versatility. Now, if you wanted to, let's say instead, play around cap breakers in terms of like, you know, the other part of the build, like the defense, and be a little bit more of a mediocre defender, and then play, you know, a couple more attribute points into the pass accuracy instead, feel free to. I'm just here to give suggestions and stuff like that, I truly do believe that this could be usable. But obviously, I haven't made the build myself, so I can't put my money where my mouth is. I do want to show you this video, though, that really did pique my interest a little bit, and it didn't have a direct correlation to the build that I was considering making right here as a switchable lockdown, but it really is interesting, and I want you to at least see it. Now, I don't want it to be propaganda, but I want you to at least see it for your own eyes. Alright, so 2K Labs did a comparison between 95 and 25 pass accuracy, and they compared the speed and the clean catch rate and stuff like that. Now, I will say, and I probably have to mute this, yeah, so I will say the catch rate was obviously rough, like the accuracy on this was bad, but if you look at the pass speed on this and try and compare these, they look like the same thing. It's rough, man, it really is rough. Like, now, as you can see, it's not always going to be the clean passes. Like, they are really failing in terms of like the accuracy on this. But realistically, these do not look like they're throwing balloons. It just doesn't look like it's, you know, throwing something with like no heat on it or anything like that. It just looks like, you know, rookie year Josh Allen, pretty much. Like, he's super inaccurate with it. But like, some of these passes are connecting, obviously. And come on, let's be real. Full court passes with 25 pass accuracy, it'd be a huge problem if that was like, you know, throwable. Anyway, my point is that the pass speed itself does not look that bad. And I don't really have a lot of context on what 25 pass accuracy looks like. So again, I don't want this to be propaganda. I just want to show you this straight up and use it as a tool for your own inferencing of how possible it could be to play with a build like this. But I don't want you to take my word for it. Obviously, you know, make the build if you're interested in it yourself. But I just wanted to at least let this pique your interest a little bit in terms of opening your eyes a tad bit to the possibility of pass accuracy being a little bit overrated. So, as I mentioned, a lot of different options as far as what you want to do with the cap breakers. If you wanted to add a bag to your playstyle a little bit too, Zach LaVine dribble style is within your reach right here. You could get the 77 speed with ball off 3 cap breakers, so it's like kind of interesting as far as something to do. But again, if you wanted to do the pass accuracy, I mean, this is going from 26, and then like here, I'll just punch it in the calculator. Dude, I'm on like I'm on like 30 hours of being awake in a row at this point. It's pretty bad. I'm recording this at night, the day before you guys are actually getting on the game or anything like that. So anyway, point being, it would appear you get 29 pass accuracy from all of these cap breakers combined together. Do I think that's crazy? No. Do I think it could save your build if 25, 26 pass accuracy is actually abysmal and you can't do anything about it, yet you like the build enough and wanted to keep it, and putting pass accuracy on it to 55 was at least enough for you to be serviceable after, you know, a couple of weeks of, or, you know, months of playing on it? I think this could be decent. And again, the build doesn't need much for cap breakers. It already has the defensive rebound at 92. It has the, you know, 82 interior D, 92 perim. It's got nowhere to budge as far as that goes. Even if you were to put the cap breaks on steel, 91's the next threshold you'd even want, and gloves not really that useful anyway. You have the high flying denier, the vertical to go with it, the strength to go with playing as a good defender and getting body ups on people and stuff. You got the 3-point at bronze limitless while also having sharp takeover. What more could you want other than some, you know, cut ability and some pass accuracy? Like, again, it's just, as long as you're okay with being a corner spot up and really embracing your defensive role, this is who I'm making the build for and I wanted to put people onto. Again, I understand this isn't for everybody. If everybody's walking around on builds like this, there'd be at least like 30% of the people that would absolutely not do it. They need their pass accuracy, and that's fine. That's okay. I just wanted to put this out here for people who wanted to make something like this, because truth be told, I'm trying to look out for you guys, and what I would hate to see on the other team is something like this. Imagine your opponent's, like, put yourself in your opponent's shoes rather than yourself. Imagine your opponent's only weakness was that they pass the ball slow, and turns out it's possible it might not even be like that. It's just they throw it inaccurately, and they can't throw full court passes in Pro-Am. Like, but if you're playing 3v3 or something like that, imagine that's your opponent's only weakness. is that they can't throw like, you know, super accurate passes, but they're sitting in the corner all game and they actually have the ball hit their hands 2 times in the course of a whole game that they end up actually passing the ball back somewhere. Maybe even 1, maybe even 0 for that matter. Point being, all of these things are constantly going to be used. Your steal rating, your perimeter defense, your interior D, your block, your rebound, your speed, agility, strength, vertical, all that is going to be imposed on the opposite team every single play that you're on defense, and your, you know, 3-point threat, as well as just the like sharp take presence that you have as well. All at the expense of what? A couple passes a game. And for that matter, you could just walk it back to your point guard if you really wanted to. This is for the traffic cones on offense that are cool with that. They're cool with embracing that style. And again, that might not be you. So I understand this video will get plenty of hate in the comments. I'm ready and prepared for that. But I wanted to put this out here for the people who are interested in something like this. So anyway, I want to pan over to one more thing. I want to show you all the tiers of the badge +1s and +2s and stuff like that, and what you can kind of plan on for a build like this, because it unlocks it even more. So let's just talk about it. It's going to be a ways away though, I will say that much, as far as the specialization and stuff like that. It's going to be a grind. I just have learned that today, obviously. But anyway, let's go get you to that real quick. So here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to have this screen up right here that shows you the combo archetypes and stuff like that, like what you could do with a 6'8", for instance. But this only applies to some cases. Like you don't get rebound chaser as a tier 2 at 6'8". It's more of just like a 6'6" thing. But all of the rest of them do apply to a 6'8". So like on-ball menace, glove, challenger, all in tier 1. You could even say interceptor is also a tier 1. So just keep that in mind as well. Set shot specialist, tier 1. You have things like a movable enforcer and paint patroller in tier 2 that you could really make a lot of, like, you know, bang for your buck out of. We're talking you already have, like, you know, silver paint patroller, gold high flying denier as is. High flying denier is a tier 2 badge as well. So like add high flying denier to this, add interceptor to the tier 1s. You specialize in defense, man, and you actually lock in on like doing the objectives of a lock. It's gonna be big time. Now, why I want to pan back and forth to this is to also show you guys like that the badges are, you know, in these tiers and stuff as well. So like tier 1, tier 2, if you want to see a name to face, if you will, they're all here. So like challenger, interceptor, tier 1, glove, on-ball menace, stuff like that. Deadeye, limitless, set shot specialist, obviously rebound chaser, stuff like that are tier 1s. Tier 2, again, immovable enforcer, box out beast, high flying denier, paint patroller, even post move lockdown, stuff like that. Now, what I really wanted to kind of bring you to is the build specialization. So if you specialize in defense, it is a bit of a journey. So like you're gonna have to win 20 games, defend 100 shots well, aka get good shot contest, win 50 games with a teammate grade of A- or higher. This is going to be a lot harder than you think it is. 250 steals, that's rough. I can't lie. Like this is gonna be a journey, and you're gonna have to commit to something like this because, like, bro, realistically, this is quite the grind. 1,500 shots contested well. Now, the problem is that these other ones are also quite the grind as well. So like for the rebounding, right? You need to win 20 games, once again, 200 rebounds, win 50 games with a teammate grade of A- or higher, 350 rebounds, 600 rebounds, 1,250, 2,000 rebounds, right? The finishing, it's like close shots, which I really hope dunks count as too, or else this is cooked right here. But 20 games, 200 close shots, 400 close shots, 600, 1,000, 2,000. Point being, no matter what you pick, it's going to be hard. I think the shooting is going to be, unfortunately, like by far the easiest thing, because this is just going to be so much easier to do as far as like doing it in career. Whereas like the defense ones, you're going to have to kind of do naturally. So I will say, if you want to commit to the build specialization for defense, you got to be someone that's committed to this style. It's got to be like the thing you really, really want to embrace. Otherwise, I can't lie to you, I think it might be more valuable. Let me come back to the actually, here, we could just stay in this category, and I'll just go back to the badges. If you want to specialize in shooting, I think it could be a possible thing as well. It's just that there's not really any tier 2s. And then for the shooting, if you do specialize in it, you're going to be constantly, I would assume, running set shot specialist and deadeye, which is okay. That's perfectly fine to +2 one of them and +1 the other. And those can be your specializations. And then you'd have room left over for 2 tier 1s and 2 tier 2s left over for, like, you know, a +2 and a +1 in both those categories. So like you could still do a +2 interceptor with a +1 challenger or something like that, while also running +2 high flying or paint patroller with +1 high flying denier. You can still do that and put 4 defensive badges in your +1s and +2s. Like, let me actually just go to that real quick and make an example of this. So like, this is your specialization category. If you put the 2 shooting right there and you want to put a max +1 and a +2, they can both be tier 1s. So this could be set shot specialist and Deadeye if you really want them to be. And then again, you could put 2 tier 1s because one can be a max +1, one can be a max +2, and then you can put 2 tier 2s because one can be a max +1, one can be a max +2. So all things considered, I'm trying to set you up for a little bit of success here because I do think that this specialization for defense is going to be a grind. It's going to be crazy because you have to do them all in order too. You can't just get like, you know, 100 steals right now while also going for the 20 games won and also get like shots contested. Nah, you got to do them in order. You got to get 20 games won, then get the shots contested, then get 50 games won, then get the 250 steals. So for those of you out there that are like, you know, casuals or not complete no lifes, this is going to be a really hard thing to do, and I really would just buy into the shooting one a little bit more. Now, I will say too though, if you're not willing to grind this in career, it might be a little bit of a hard thing to grind too, but realistically, it's just much easier to come across a made shot in a made 3-pointer, or mid-range for that matter, as you can see. You could do either of them. Or, just to compare that, obviously, it's harder to come across a good shot contest, because you can't force them. You can force, you know, the sharpshooter things. You can force yourself to make 3-pointers. You can just throw my career on rookie, or like you'll passively get these as you're just being a corner spot up, simply put, right? So it's hard to say. That's where I would lean if it were me personally. I don't know if I believe in the defensive specialization quite as much is all. But again, you could put 4 badges in those +1, +2s that are still defense, and then just, you know, be willing to live with the fact that you have to use 2 shooting at all times, no matter what. But anyway, that's all video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff. Like always, try this one to 1,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video, put lock or put versatile. that's probably too much. Put V in the comments if you want to show your support that you made all the way through. But anyway, that's our synopsis on the build. I think it looks so fire, and this is something I'd hate to see playing against me. Let alone if I were playing as an ISO player that had actual shooting on them. This looks miserable to be playing against, at least in comparison to anything else that I've ever seen on the game yet, as far as like, you know, the defender builds that are on them. Because, dude, I think while I will say the perimeter lockdown defenders are plenty fine as long as you add things to the bag like speed with ball and 3-pointer and stuff like that and be like a 2-way sharp, but for the pure locks out there that want to be like a 6'6" pure lock that, like, you know, just hounds the ball and gives people a hard time with the ball in their hand, I don't think you're going to have the value that you think you are in this game. I think the era of small locks being an actual dominant on-ball presence is in the past. I think it's truly a time of switchable lockdown defenders where imagine 2 of these are on the court together playing alongside an ISO player at the 1, and the ball's just in his hands constantly, like on some James Harden usage, and it's just 2 of these PJ Tuckers on crack in the corner, you know? That sounds miserable. Like if you're a pick and roll team or something like that, or even an ISO team on the contrary with this guarding your ISO player. But if you had 2 of these and they're guarding your pick and roll, oh my God, imagine that while you have a traffic cone, you know, like lockdown on your team. So then their little point guard can just get away with like not having defense or anything like that. So I will acknowledge that's obviously a problem that you have with this build, but the wrap up ability of like a high 3-pointer is still kind of there. And again, it's not great cutter ability, but the dunking is still a presence somewhat. But again, it will be a traffic cone. So you want to play with a pretty ball dominant player, all things considered. So anyway, I've given you guys enough contingencies and, you know, like watch out for this, watch out for that. If you like the idea of the build and think it's unique and fun and something you want to get behind, check it out, try it. I'm not trying to waste your VC though. If you don't want it, don't do it. Simple, you know. I just wanted to give you guys the blueprint for those of you guys that I know this style exists for some, at least. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.